Yo, we are in here. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, notification bell, share. Sharing is caring. Make sure you check out Kobe, Cole from the Low. Make sure you check him out on YouTube with his show. Yeah, we thank Cole for the Low joining in. Rod Brooks, the showcase, the Georgia Bulldog fanatics. They're
Rough.
checking out the dogs and the NIT. and that, and that's what they die hard dogs if they checking out the NIT Georgia Bulldog basketball. So they Georgia through and through. And man, my man E Hightower,
Hey,
Georgia
hey,
Georgia Southern alumnus,
Georgia,
a a great one. Hey
Georgia.
man, tell a quick story too, E, about March Madness and yourself and Georgia Southern
You
before we
know
get
what?
rolling.
You know what? Every year this time, I led Georgia Southern to its first ever NCAA Division One tournament back in 1983. Okay, so you know we're not scared to tell our age, right? Okay, but very exciting time, and every year around this time, I feel my head just blowing off, right? Because it was such an experience for me, to be there to play in a NCAA tournament as a Division One player. So this is an exciting time for basketball, college basketball, and I just feel the energy for all the collegiate players now that get the opportunity to even go to NCAA tournament. The energy, the laughter. A lot of people, I guess, younger guys don't know, but Dick Vitale even mentioned my name, and that was such a highlight for me to look at the replay, even though it was one of the worst games I ever played in my career. As I think I was 5 for 25 or 5 for 27 from the field that night. But the experience was great, and I relish the moment even today, having an opportunity to lead a team as a leading scoring captain to NCAA tournament. And by the way, let me give you one stat too. I think again I was like 5 for 25 from the field, and I remember Steph Curry playing in the NCAA tournament. He was like 7 for 27, 7 for 28, and subsequently we actually played in the same conference but at a different time, and it was named the same. He played again like Georgia Southern, small D1 school like Davidson was. So part of my uh, celebrity is to go 5 for like 25, but I was there. I was there.
It was in the house.
Yeah, and that's important, man. You led your squad there. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
so
Exciting
yeah.
March. Exciting time.
All right. Okay. Well, there's some other March Madness going on that's in the NBA, and so we're gonna cover the NBA. We're gonna talk about the Lakers. Will the Lakers make the conference final? Will they end up in the finals? Will some of these young teams, some of the young guns in the league now, are they for real or are they just mirages? Also, the Boston Celtics. We got to talk about them. Can any team in the East catch Boston? We'll get that answer in a little while. And any dark horses in the East and West, we'll talk about that as well. And also a Kevin Durant question. So let's get to it. Let's throw this out there first. All right, let's start with the West, and let's start with the team that's at the top of the West, the Denver Nuggets. Well, one of the top teams in the West, excuse me. So the Nuggets won the championship last year, and so here's the question, and I know it's kind of tricky because we have the OKCs and the Minnesota Timberwolves out there. But in your mind, gentlemen, are the Nuggets the number one team overall, the number one team in the league to be? And we'll start with Cole from the low, and then work our way around.
I don't think the Nuggets number one team. Jokic is the leading MVP for MVP conversation, but comparing his MVP season and last year's season, Jokic is not the same to me. And you got them scary teams like you mentioned, OKC, the Minnesota. We can't count out the Suns, the Lakers, the Warriors, the Mavs. I just personally don't think Jokic is and his leading his team to be the number one overall seed. I don't think they're the best team in the West.
All right, let's spin it around. Let's go. We'll go around the case, Rodney, and then E.
Yeah, I disagree. I mean, you're not beating them boys in 7 games, man. I mean, regardless how he playing, if it's you're not beating Denver in 7 games. They I was telling Ghost the other day, I messed around. Okay, I'm about to take you on a little trip, but I was I really find it hard to watch basketball these days, to be honest with you. But I do it. I messed around and I watched Jordan against the Lakers. I messed around and watched Kobe and Shaq. Then I came back around and I watched LeBron against the Cavs when they were down, when he was down, and then he came through. And I was telling Ghost, we got a nephew, and he's a Bron fan, and I was just like, man, I just can't give it to Bron. This Jordan, Kobe, Bron to me. But when I watch these games, man, LeBron, man, is his whole thing is different. So I know I'm on something different, but the answer to the question, you're not beating these guys in 7 games. And there is some dark horses out there, but man, the Suns, all these players can make a run. All these teams can make a run, but to say it's well put together, the way the 4 and the 5 operate, Jokic and Gordon, the way they operate. Then you got Murray out there. You got a long range shooter and what's the boy name? Oh God.
KCP.
Well, not him and
Jamal Murray.
yeah, Murray. Man, dude, and you can't. I'm just saying, man. It's hard to beat them boys, man. They turn it on, but who I know y'all said like who's gonna beat them in 7 games?
It's multiple teams that beat them in 7 games. They ain't showing that this season.
Who's gonna beat them in you gonna put their 5 against they will kill LeBron. You're not gonna out rebound them.
All you gotta worry about is Jokic and Murray. Everybody else on and off. Gordon,
Gordon. That's what you had to worry about last year. You had to worry about him last year.
Last year, Jokic had an MVP season. Jokic ain't the same that we've been seeing the last 2 years. It's multiple teams.
I would hope that people would catch on to what he's doing. I get that, but that does not necessarily mean that this man is. I mean that he can't. That they're not the one to beat in the East. I mean the West. They're unstoppable to me. I don't see how you're gonna beat them in 7 games.
Yeah, I mean, Jokic averaging almost 26, 12, and 9, 58% from the field. I mean, I don't see the drop off there. This is a master class in how to build around your best player. With guys like KCP and Aaron Gordon, these long, athletic guys who play off Jokic so well. If you think about Aaron Gordon, for example, in the Orlando, and he was never going to be a true like number 1 option or even the number 2 option. But you put him with Jokic and his slashing ability and his ability to make you pay if you put a smaller guard on him in the post. I mean, it's just the perfect fit for the Nuggets. And this is, I look at the continuity they have. I look at how they build around Jokic. I look at this roster. Jamal Murray is the perfect complement to Jokic as far as guards go. I mean, I gotta say, I mean, they to me they're the team to beat. I just defensively, it's so hard to guard these guys because they have so many options, and Jokic makes the whole thing go. And he doesn't have to be the centerpiece. He doesn't have to score. His ability to run this offense, whether he has the ball in his hands or not, is what makes this team go. And offensively, they are at another level. And you look at defensive, like I said, the long, athletic guards they put around Jokic. And this team, knows how to play defense. Even Jokic isn't the best defender, but he's good about knowing his positioning, and he looks awkward out there. But again,
agreed.
I think he does. Like he knows how to position himself. He knows how to use his body. So yeah, I mean, to me, yeah, definitely, this is definitely the team to beat.
All right, Cole. I know you're gonna have something to say. Let's let E get in, and then I know Cole will rebuttal.
Yeah, Kobe, I feel you on it, and Rod and Brooks. when we talk about that, let me go from a different angle. Christian Braun, the guy comes off the bench for Denver Nuggets. Contavious Caldwell Pope, we know what he has done, and he's a champion already. What about Reggie Jackson? This after we talk about Jamal Murray. This after we talk about Joker, who has, I think, 21 triple doubles this season, going for number 22 tonight, right? When we can talk about pedigree over the last 4 or 5 years. So we got experience right there. Old school player, Rod. I hear you talking about Michael Jordan right there. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
I feel you. And this team right here has a bench. They have proven players. And this team right here is probably the favorite. Again, most of these teams now, we can look at the injury report, whether that's, Boston, whether that's Denver, and of course, LA, when we talk about LA. But let's just look at it. OKC hasn't never really been there before. Yeah, they're up and coming. Minnesota, they just won't be able to push over that hill that they need to win. Denver, they've been there. They're experienced. They have MVP. And Kobe, when we look at a player, when a player has played at a level so high for 2, 3, 4 years, right? It's hard. It's just human nature to say, I'm tired. I've done it. I know what it takes to win. The Joker is a player that can become methodical. It's kind of like the last years of Larry Bird. He already can't jump, but why do you need to jump? Become smarter, become wiser. They can still put up the same type of numbers, but they do it in a subtle way, but it's still happening. And then we talk about the locker room. What's happening in the locker room? There's a lot that goes on in a locker room that comes out on the court that you'll never see, you'll never know. And it's an action thing. It's I know you there. I know what we talked about. We've been here before, and it's called experience. So right now, I'll have to go with the Denver Nuggets out of the West. And again, the Joker 21 triple doubles this season. And if there's a drop off, maybe so. But sometimes your eyes can be very fooling, and you can't believe what you see all the time. But experience sometimes seems to rise to the top.
All right, they are the defending champs. So so it seems like right now, the majority of the panel is thinking that the Nuggets are the team to beat overall. And Cole, you think different. Anything else you want to bring back in as to why?
Oh, I'm gonna address every single person. So I'm gonna start with Mr. Eric. So I like that you brought in the backup guys, Contagious Caldwell Pope, Peyton Watson, Christian Braun, and I like their supporting cast in that second group coming off the bench. But I am gonna bring in like the dark horse, OKC, Minnesota. I mean, you can call them dark horses, but you can't because they both have been number 1 seeds at the same time. But are we gonna forget about guys that has great supporting teams around them that can compete with the Denver Nuggets? LA, both LAs, Golden State, the Suns. I think Luka and them got the firepower, but they might actually can't beat the Denver Nuggets. But you can count against them. We're bringing in the younger guys because that's who've been with the number 1 seeds. But we still have the people, like you said, experience with guys. Bron got 4 rings. Curry got four rings. Supporting cast. Draymond got 4 rings. KD's been there before. We can't keep out the guys that's in the play-in tournament that we can now call dark horses because they're in there, and they can still knock the Denver Nuggets out. I just don't think it's the same Denver Nuggets we've been seeing. They can lose. They lost to these teams before in the regular season. Now it can get different when we get into the playoffs. Yes, that's true. But if you play like this now, it's a lot. It's sometimes and like they're starting guys. What's his name? Aaron Gordon, and we forgot one name. Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah,
that's what I was talking about. Michael Porter Jr.
Yeah, that's how I knew you were talking about, Mr. Rob. The name couldn't get in my head at the time.
Exactly.
That's how I knew you were talking about. MPJ, not Casey, MPJ. Them guys are sometimes all the way up or all the way down. They play Minnesota tonight. Last time they played Minnesota, Michael Porter Jr. had 5 points, Aaron Gordon had 4 points. If I want this championship mentality against a team that has also been number one, I can't play like that to help my team win. Now, the Mr. Rod case, you brought up MP, you brought up MJ, you brought up Cole, you brought up Brun. That's a whole different conversation. But I kind of get where the standpoint you was coming from. But I just think they're the number one team to beat because they're the champions. If they wasn't the champions,
Right.
I don't think they're the number one team to beat because they haven't been the number one team all year. It's the same with college. I was saying Georgia was not the number one team in my eyes. The true number one team was Michigan. Michigan go reach the championship. Jokic and them has been bouncing in and out the number one team.
Right. Let me interrupt you for a minute because Kobe skipped over me, and I just want to say something right here. We talk about the Lakers. Well, what is his name? Anthony Davis probably get hurt and won't show up. We don't know what's going to happen to LeBron. His ankle. We talk about the Suns. KD has already said, he's a different type of leader. So who leads out there? Dallas Mavericks can't play any defense. They're going to have to depend on a Kyrie left-hand shot at the buzzer, one of the greatest shots ever. So, hypothetically speaking, we know that something is going to happen. It's going to probably be an injury, right? But again, the Lakers.
But you can't use the AD injury because guess what? AD has played most of the games this year. AD played most of the games this year. So we can't use the AD as an injury excuse because he didn't play almost 98% of the games this year. If we're not counting load management and not to miss you out, Mr. The Show, Mr. Brooks.
And by the way, I'll put the where's that thing? I'll put the Atlanta Hawks on the Clippers from the other night.
Okay, let us understand that these are the last 15 to 17 games. We know the placement. We understand. You might go up or down a number, but it doesn't. You in the main ones. You're not in the play-in. We understand how these numbers are going to work. Now, I'm going to tell you a facet that no one said anything about, but last year, the Denver Nuggets, they were playing defense. Aaron Gordon was playing defense. Michael Porter Jr. playing defense. Those jokers were dogs. They were on people. Then you just got, what's his name? You got Jokic just stand. All he does is stand there and raise his hands up. That's it. That's all he does. That's all he really can do. He can't jump. He can move a little bit, but he's not a defensive stopper. I don't know how he get triple doubles. It's the most amazing thing, the most nonchalant triple doubles I've ever seen in my life.
Because his passing ability, his vision, his intelligence.
Everybody's gonna turn it up, and we just gonna see who's gonna match who. Because I'm telling you, 7 games, you gotta guard these people for 7 games. They're gonna dissect you. Buddy, I'm just telling you, no one's. You're not beating Denver, man. I'm just saying, I just don't see nobody in the East. The West doing that. Nobody. Boston, y'all said something really true about Boston. Kobe did. Excuse me. When you said what goes on in the locker room, that's what got Boston.
That was E.
Boston lost the locker room just wasn't right. Everything was right. They had Jaylen Brown playing defense. You had Tatum doing this.
Are we talking about this as in last year's perspective?
Last year's perspective. Okay. Last year's perspective. This year, I won't say Boston has more. They have a little bit more of a different tone that I do see. But hopefully they can go for it because they're the only team really that can beat from the East that can beat somebody in the West. They're the only ones. It's nobody else.
Well, we're gonna get to the East in a little. We're gonna get there in a little bit, but we already know where Rodney stands with the East. I
Yes,
think
you do.
I think yeah, and I think you had Kobe had something to say to Brooks, and I'm sure Brooks got a response.
No, I mean, all I say, I'm not. I know the pedigree of this team as far as the Nuggets go. I don't care if they finish as the 3rd seed or the 2 seed or the 1 seed. I don't think they really care. They just want to get into the playoffs. I mean, these guys know what
Shelton.
it's about. You know, they're not going to fall. You know, this team's too good to fall below what a 5 seed maybe. You know, they're not going to fall that far. You know, they're too good. You know, whether they get the 1 seed, the 2 seed, 3 seed, they don't. I don't think they care about that. What do they care about? They care about getting into the playoffs and winning titles. So I mean, I'm not going to sit here and and say they're not as good. They're not a team to beat because they're a 3 seed and 1 game back, or you know, 2 like really younger, hungry teams who've never done it before. That makes sense. I mean, these teams want that 1 and 2 seed. You know, the Nuggets, they're fine. They'll be in playoffs at the 3 seed. You still gotta, you still gotta beat them in a 7-game series, right? So yeah, I'm just not gonna put that much stock into the where the Nuggets fall as far as regular season standings.
And I agree with you. I just don't think. I think it's some teams that can compete and take them to Game 7 and win it in Game 7.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Well,
sure.
yeah,
If we're being hypothetical like that, of course, last minute shots or whatever. But I don't see you getting that far with it. I don't see you, dude. They
yeah.
that
Well,
pedigree comes out, buddy.
I'll definitely say this, guys. The Nuggets. Obviously, I wrote the question, so that's the dirty little secret here. And I wrote it because I did feel like with the Nuggets winning it last year, and in the fashion that they did it, I, and them coming back for another season, just feel like as a unit. I think as a unit, if you blend experience, uh, experience and talent and having arguably the best player in the game right now on your team that's also your facilitator. I think that, for me, I do feel like they're the favorite. But again, there's formidable opponents, and that's why we're going to go through this Western Conference. So there's a lot of teams that can win this thing. And with that said, gentlemen, let's start with the young guns, the Timberwolves and the Thunder. There's a lot of talk about this in NBA circles that, okay, we have the young, talented teams that are at the top of the West right now, but we have some savvy veterans at the bottom of the West right now. Do you feel like that the Wolves and Thunder, do you think they're legitimate threats? And what I mean by legitimate threats is conference finals or better. Do you think they're legitimate threats in this year's playoffs? We started with Kobe, so now we're gonna start with Brooks, and then we'll go Rod, E, and then Kobe.
Yeah. I mean, so with those young teams, without a lot of playoff experience, you just got to wonder, you know, when playoffs come, how are they going to react? You got, both super talented, but both are super young and super inexperienced. So you look to me like, what if you look at these play-in tournament teams in the West, like the Mavericks and the Suns, who have veterans, playoff experience with titles. You got Luca, you got the KD, you got Booker. Like, man, I mean, you could really convince me that they wanted these. If you're the Thunder and the Timberwolves, and you stay at the 1 and 2, and you draw, the Mavericks or the Suns. I mean, that's not going to be an easy first round matchup for these guys. So I'm gonna wait and see approach, because I recognize the talent here, but they're young, they're inexperienced, and I look at the bottom of the West and I see teams with stone cold killers and true alpha dogs like KD and Luca, and with Steph, like with Steph and the Warriors get out, what if LeBron and AD come out? Like, oh man, I'm skeptical.
All right, Rod.
The answer is no. They will not make it to those rounds. I got OKC getting out the first round. Be at the house watching just like we're gonna be doing. Then Minnesota's the only reason I don't say that is because man, Anthony Edwards could go God mode. He go God mode, brother. 85 points in the third quarter. Lord, yeah, I'm just saying he can put up points in bunches of points. They might be able to get out the first round, might be, but I don't have either one of them going to any no kind of conference, nothing. No, I don't see that. I don't, not at all.
All right. What about you, E? Oh, E, you're on mute.
You're muted, Mr.
Let,
E.
let's 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 look at this right here from an injury standpoint. We just mentioned a few minutes ago that there's 12, 15 more games left in the NBA. Okay, the winner has to play probably 15 games through the playoffs. So for the team that's going to keep winning and go ahead, we may have 29, 30 more games, what have you, right? Injuries. We got guys already hurt. Let's say Karl Anthony Towns from Minnesota. When you go deep into the playoffs, you've got to have your healthy five. Karl Anthony Towns, I think, is injured now. We never know when Rudy Gobert is going to get thrown out of a game, right? Anthony hurt his finger. I think it was last night. A little finger can cause the best player or any player to be off on any game. So, I don't think that Minnesota would be able to sustain probably even a strong Phoenix team if they are healthy and on top of their game. Both teams are questionable. When we look at those three players you flashed on the screen right now, three for Phoenix, anything can happen at any time. And again, when we're talking about court demeanor, when we talk about body posture, look at KD's body posture. Watch his movement. He has a somewhat seemingly kind of a more lethargic type movement. I'm going to play mine. As I say, I'm a baller, and I'm just waiting for everybody to do what they're supposed to do. But Booker is prone to injury. Booker's prone to have a bad game. We haven't seen Booker really play this season, the Booker that we knew of last season or before. He's had too many ups and downs. So it could be a toss-up because you never know what may happen on any given night. But I just don't see Minnesota being able to do it. And I would have to put, Phoenix ahead of Minnesota if that was a matchup right there at any time, at any spot, during any playoff this year.
Okay, Coach, floor is yours.
Looking at if the season would end today, the Thunder will have to take the Suns, the Timberwolves will have to take the Mavericks, and then we count the play-in. One of them will have to take the Warriors or Lakers. I don't see them getting out the first round. Not with the 4 teams that's in the playoffs, and them maybe if they can get dropped to 2 or 3, they can sneak one with the Kings. But yeah, I don't see them getting past them 4 teams that can make it out the play-in.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean it's done. Oh,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brooks. You good? Go ahead. Y'all chime in.
I had something about the Timberwolves. Like you look at their point guard position. They have an aging Mike Conley, and that really concerns me defensively.
Yeah.
You think about the elite point guards and the speedy guards in this league, and you giving out Mike Conley. I get the veteran leadership, and I get how he could probably run the offense, but defensively, man, that is a liability. When you go up and think about him guard, you can put him on Booker, you can put him on Curry. Like, man, that scares me. And as far as the Thunder go, I felt like they were one move away. I wanted them to add like a real true center so they could, because I don't feel like they have that lineup versatility yet. I feel like they need that center, and I feel like they could have got somebody during the trade deadline, and they didn't. So I'm a little concerned about some team playing bully ball against these Thunder, and like, for example, Anthony Davis.
Right.
You think about like Sabonis for the Kings. Like, I don't think the Thunder have an answer for some of these elite centers. So I have real question marks for both of these top 2 seeds. And I mean, this in the West is just so much more deeper than the East. I mean, these 7, 8 seeds are like 10 games over 500, man. Like, these are not like, the Hawks are sitting there the 10th seed, 8 games 8 games under 500. I mean, these 7 and 8 seeds have legit records. They've had good seasons. So yeah, I mean, I have question marks for the 1 and 2 seed for sure.
And just to let you know, Brooks is a huge Hawks fan, by the way. So when he throws that out there, he's a humongous Hawks fan. So you
Let's
guys on the same.
Hopefully we don't have to talk about them tonight. Please don't.
Yeah.
Look,
Well,
there's no. We're talking about winners. We won't be talking about them. But hey, I'm a Bulls fan. We won't be talking about them either.
No.
Unfortunately, we won't.
Yeah, but that's the thing that's going on right now in the West is upside down, if you will. You have the young guns with the talent, young talent. That's I mean, if they continue on this trajectory, they should be the teams that lead the way in the near future. As far as these, being consistently in the playoff position and threatening for a championship if they continue to build like they're doing. But yeah, there is something missing right now, and I think the key to both of those teams that's missing is experience. And when I say experience, I'm referring to playoff experience. When you have to play a team, as Eric said earlier, you got to play 7 games. You got to play them over and over again. Now a team can lock in on you, and most of these games will come down to executing late in games. You know what I'm saying? When both teams know each other's plays, and a veteran team like the Lakers or the Warriors or even the Clippers. I mean, which is a team that may come up in a minute here. When these veteran teams are out there, they know how to close more so than a younger team, and those teams are still trying to figure those things out. And I will say this: Towns, that injury is going to come back to bite them at some point if he's not able to get back. So we need to figure out when he's coming back too, because he's a big body. And he can play from the inside and the outside, which leads to that versatility. They have Nas Reed, which is another big, but they still need Towns. I think having all 3 of them with Towns, Gobert, and Nas Reed in the postseason, that could be something that can help them and maybe help make up for having a veteran like Conley at point where they don't have the speed there anymore. But having those 3 bigs that can rotate may help. Rod, you have something to say there?
Yeah, I was going. You kind of hit on it just a tad bit. When you don't have the playoff experience, it is extremely important to have the veteran presence. Now
Mm-hmm.
that can calm your locker room. They can get you have to bring them down. Hey, this 7 games. You might have you might have had a bad game this game, but in a day or two we get to go right back out here. You get to go right back at it. It's different when you talking to somebody who neither one of y'all been to the playoffs, and you looking at me, I'm looking at you, and you try to listen to your coach, and you like, what is this? So it's a big difference, man. It's different playing a team consecutively like that. It's you haven't done it all season. You don't. That's why they don't do it. You play 4 games. What, they got it 4 games now that you kind of play everybody in your conference, something like that, or
Pretty much, yeah.
pretty much everybody's playing about 4 or 5 games. And you catch them ups and downs, but dude, when you get to this playoff and these games back to back to back, they you know what, we thinking about rest. Let's go ahead and get these boys on out of here. Go on ahead. It's the different ball game, man. I just don't see OKC or Minnesota. Minnesota might be the only exception, but I still don't see them. Maybe second round, like I said. OKC definitely going in the first round. It's over.
Let me say something right here, and I want you throughout all of the playoffs, okay? Throughout all of the playoffs, I want to suggest something here. I want to say something here. I want everybody to watch these games. These games are going to be won in 3 different areas. Some of these games you will see all 3 of these things happening, and that would be the lack of defense. Okay, for the team to lose, a block out, and somebody would get a long rebound and make a layup or an easy tip in. Or number 3, it's going to be won more than likely by a 3-point shot. Throughout all of these playoffs games, watch those 3 items right there. That's going to take place in every series. Defense, the 3-point shot, and then the lack of rebounding. The game today, it's not a physical game. It's a game of, oh, you hit me in the head, you hit me in the cheek, oh, it's a foul, or you thrown out, or let's go review it. Okay? So the 3-point shot, the defense, and the lack of blocking out would be pivotal in every game.
All right, those are some
I agree with
keys
that.
right there. Yeah, those are some keys right there. That's playoff keys right there. We talked about the young teams. Now let's talk about some old savvy veteran teams, the Lakers and the Warriors. Pretty much in the 10. I think the Lakers like number 10 and the Warriors are 9. That can flip flop any day.
Lakers are
But
not.
they're pretty.
Is
Right.
this like a
They
dark
are.
horse question? Is this a dark horse type thing, or are we just talking about the
That
last two
that's
seasons?
coming up. Yeah, that's coming up next, the dark horses.
All
But
right.
right now it's the Lakers and Warriors. Pretty much in the play-in. Unless Phoenix, falls off the face of the earth as the season ends. But Lakers and Warriors, okay, gentlemen, one of them are going to get in, maybe both. But what are your thoughts on the Lakers and Warriors? We'll start with the Lakers.
Who started off?
Let's go with you, Cole. No,
Go
E,
with
E, E, E. E hasn't started off yet. Let's start off with E, and then Cole. Just
Hey,
pass it to the next person.
I really don't have anything to say. You saw me doing this right here. It doesn't even make a difference. Lakers or Warriors. Bye. See you next year. Always next year. What we're gonna do next year? But Draymond Green is not gonna be able to play. Clay gonna have 28 in one game and 2 in the next. I mean, Curry gonna do his 35, 6 and 6, Warriors. As much as I hate to say it, from the guy that's what's maybe the second greatest point guard ever, as long as you
Second
keep
greatest?
Isaiah Thomas, I'm fine with Magic Johnson being the
Okay.
greatest guard ever. I'll argue with you about that. He's better than Isaiah Thomas. Whole different conversation.
I'm gonna take a sip on that one.
The Warriors don't even have a chance. And like I said, the Lakers, come on. LeBron James, he's waiting on his son to come in,
Oh
who's
Lord!
not an NBA player. But I mean, AD is going to get hurt. But Reeves can only score 15 a game, 18 a game. He can't do it by himself. And what's the point guard name? D'Angelo
Russell.
D'Angelo Russell. He may win a game for them. He's on a hot streak. So I really don't have too much else to say about the Lakers or the Warriors. Okay, one of them going to get in. Okay, take one, choose one. Okay.
Cole.
Yeah, give me the Lakers. If the play-in starts and we got the Lakers versus the Warriors, I want Lakers. It is non-biased speaking. I want the Lakers all the way in. They're gonna go to the playoffs. Smooth past first round. We're 10 or 9, so we gotta go through 8 and 7. I'm cool with whoever they gotta get. So I'm gonna take Lakers over the Warriors. And I don't think the Warriors are not the same. And I ain't gonna say the Lakers are too, but the Lakers, if it comes down to it, LeBron is gonna get the job done. Mr. Eric mentioned D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves. With the Warriors right now, like he said, I love Klay Thompson, big fan, but he's not playing how he was. Right now, just for them, you just got Jonathan Kuminga. Now, Brandon Pachetsky, he comes in every now and then, but when it comes against the Lakers, he don't really show up. He shows up, but he don't shows up like he needs to for them to get past. Clay, like I said, might drop 27 one game and 6 points another. Draymond, you don't really know what's going to happen with him. He's wishy-washy. So I'll take the Lakers if it comes to Lakers and Warriors. I'll take LeBron and the Lakers.
All right, Bruce, it's your show, man.
Yeah, I mean, you got both teams with aging cores here. You start with the Lakers here. So on paper, theoretically, okay, LeBron and AD both have pretty much stayed healthy. And what are we? We're what, 5-6 games over 500? Like that, you got to take that and think about what's the future for this team? You really gonna, Kobe, Lakers take care of their stars. You really gonna pay LeBron all that money and give him a new contract? I mean, I get, there's pros and cons to it. You want to show the rest of the league that you take care of the stars, but I just don't see. I just see LeBron and AD. I don't know if they can win a title together. LeBron's on the back half of his career, and AD's kind of a different player now. He's more of like a physical center type player. I mean, you don't see the things he was doing in New Orleans where he was like multifaceted. I feel like his jumper is kind of like he doesn't have the smooth stroke and the inside out that he used to have. He's a different player now, and so I'm just wondering what they can do to this roster to convince me that they can actually compete for titles. Because I just don't. You tell me you got LeBron and AD now, and I don't know if that's enough. And I'm not saying like LeBron knows better than anybody how to preserve his body and bring it at the right time. So I'm not saying they can't win a series, make it out of the play-in, maybe win a series or two, but they're not winning a title. And I'm just skeptical of what the Lakers are looking to do in the future. And I mean, they very much should be in the market if, the Atlanta Hawks look at trading Trae Young. They should definitely be in the market for that. As far as the Warriors go, I'm glad Klay Thompson has kind of accepted that bench role. He's just not the same player, but he can be an effective guy coming off the bench. You talked about, we mentioned Kuminga is a budding young star. A young piece for them, but again, you got Curry and Draymond and Clay, and these are aging players, on the back half of his careers, and when you get these aging superstars, I mean that's I was listening to something the other day, and it's like the worst position for a coach to be in is coaching an aging superstar, because these are alpha dogs who, I mean, you look at how hard it was for Clay to transition to the bench. These aging superstars, their mindset is they're the best player on the floor, even if they're not. You think about like somebody like a Russell Westbrook, So, I mean, you think about these two rosters, and I'm thinking the same thing. These are aging rosters where, these players still think they are the best, but they're on the back half of their career. I will say for the Warriors, man, what Chris Paul comes back, what's he going to bring to this team? He could bring a little bit. We'll wait and see there. But I mean, again, I think both of these teams can make some noise. Do I think either of these teams are title contenders? No, I don't. And these two organizations are going to have some tough choices to make in the future because they have these aging rosters. And, what are you going to do? You're going to keep paying them superstar money and hamstring yourself? Or are you going to, make some difficult decisions and try to move forward and move out of the era you're in now?
Oh, that's some heavy stuff there, Rodney. What you got?
And I agree. I mean, is preaching. He is totally right. I mean, you bring in all this hope and these possibilities, man. But in the end, if you're not gelling, if Clay cannot outperform a Kuminga, you got to start a Kuminga. I'm just saying, you have no choice. How are you going? You have no choice, man. And these people got to phase out. Chris Paul is actually coming off the bench, y'all.
Yeah.
Believe it. He is coming off the bench. Mike Conley probably should be coming off the bench. I'm just saying this. I don't know. Somebody
they don't have that luxury.
Conversations, man. Somebody don't want to have these conversations, and if dare I say, I hope. I don't know how long y'all gonna let LeBron keep, coaching from the underculture here. Darvin Ham is in trouble. he be out of a job next year. I'm telling you, you can't. This man is trying to be down there to get his son put on the Lakers, man. I'm just telling you, I'm gonna coach and play. Watch what I tell you, man. I got 40,000 points, man. Sit down. Dude, I'm just like, look, man, it's the game. Like I said, y'all, I watch a little bit, but it's not the same, man. We grew up watching a whole different game, and And we grew up with a physicalness. We grew up with, brother, you're not about to score 50-something points on me, man. I'm gonna slap hell out you. He caught, raised my hand, foul number one. It's about 4 more of these coming. But it's just not like that no more. So you gotta. The game is just watered down. It's not playoff intensity. It's not even. It's not. I watch it, but first year. This is my last year of having NBA league pass. I was like, man, I can't get it on. I get it on. I know
you can't stop.
man.
You can't stop the NBA league pass
man.
streak, man. We started that streak back in the late '90s, man. Come on, man.
I'm sorry, brother. It's just look. I got to put it on the bench, man. It's not.
Rodney.
I feel you.
Right, we're gonna talk you off the ledge there, Rodney. We're gonna talk you off the ledge there, Rodney.
I'm just okay, y'all. What NBA team right now can be playing and you like, man, I gotta watch this game?
The Kings.
And
the King. Oh, you just saying in general, like multiple teams?
yeah, like I don't, dude. I cannot tell you. I would watch the Washington Bullets because I knew I was gonna see Strickland. I knew I was gonna see him do something. I knew Derek Harper and the Knicks were gonna give me something. They were gonna give me some Knicks Pacers in the Garden.
The game has swung the other way as far as you think about the rules.
Your question: what team you want to see, or what matchups you want to see?
You give me something.
Hey, Rod.
Give me anything.
Rod.
It's not my age, but this is my age. But you tell me you're still playing some Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Let me try to ease your pain because I mull over this every day myself. Okay, I mull over it every day, and I had to replace the Eric as the player and the way you enjoyed the game to Eric as the former referee. Okay, in high school basketball for over 20 years, and
very good referee. Very good referee at that.
I had to submit myself as a fan of entertainment. I'm a season ticket holder to the Atlanta Hawks. I have 41 games, that I go to. And I basically go to the game for entertainment. Check it out. Halftime. And, I do some of the contests when my name is called. I look at it in a particular way as entertainment as I get older. I think everything you said is absolutely right. And I had to defer that part of me to say, hey, I'm older. I got to enjoy the young Kobe, like Kobe, right? And when I see the name Kobe, I think of Kobe White playing with Chicago Bulls. And I like to see him bounce around and have some energy right there. I don't think I'm going to see the Bulls and the Hawks tonight because Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen and Bill Whittington and Steve Kerr.
Oh my God, Bill Whittington
will be that, right? I had to transfer my mindset to an entertainment. I'm like a little kid now. I like to see Harry the Hawk, right? And I'm thinking about how do they play this guy?
Man,
how do they play this guy $600,000 a year to wear a Hawk uniform? And when you had players back in the day, in which you're talking about, I mean, you had Bill Laimbeer, who was making $500,000 a year. John Concat making $1 million. I mean, it was just almost outrageous. And so these guys today, they could play 2 years, 5 years. Let's talk about Trae Young. Technically speaking, Trae is so little that he can shoot. Why would you give Trae $150 million on his next contract, right? He's probably good for another 3.5 or 4 years. He's too small. He's going to get hurt, and he talks too much, and nobody likes him, right?
So, you didn't mention defensive liability.
Defensive liability.
You didn't mention that.
But I probably missed that because most guys don't even think about playing it now. It's the 3 ball, the three. It's entertainment.
Does anybody else play ball? Who else play ball?
Well, I'm gonna tell you now. We're gonna talk about a couple of young guys that I like to see. I like to see Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Anthony.
I'd like to see slashing side. the way he go from the outside, inside. Yes, I like him.
Anthony Edwards comes to mind. He reminds me of.
When Mr. Rob was saying teams or matchups, like it's like guys you're naming on them teams. They make it exciting to watch. It might be because I'm young in my age right here, but you tell me the Celtics and Lakers finna come on, I'm going to watch. Jason Tatum, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Anthony Edwards. Them guys are exciting to watch. You tell me the Kings finna go on. We all talk about Jokic and his triple doubles. They'll talk about DeMontis Sabonis and his triple doubles. But he's not talked about. I love watching the Kings. They're not one of the most exciting teams, but the year Fox gets started, he's going to get buckets.
I like it. I do. I like it. I like it now. Which is, I think what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to ease the pain for Rod, like I ease the pain for myself, right? I mean,
me myself instead of
I thought about getting rid of NBA TV. I thought about getting rid of the package. I pay too much now for this stuff that come on TV. See, I'm substituting the word stuff for junk, but I'm trying to understand it a little bit better because I have transferred my mindset to entertainment.
Yeah. Right? Me and TJ, we would have been here about 3 or 4 games by this time. Now, I mean, my money goes to 1 or 2 little anime things on here, and I'm trying to get villas in Jamaica. I just don't do it. No. I mean, brother, I promise you, man. I watch women's basketball more than I watch NBA.
Hey, watch this right here. When I look at Boston Celtics record 54-14, I'll be like, oh man, yes, it's the Celtics. It's the Celtics 54-17. That's nearly an 80 percentile chance of winning. When I see them, and I like to look at winners, right? And I look at Boston Celtics right now. I think the record's something like 54-14.
14, yeah.
That's a man. That's pretty good. That's
impressive.
Yeah.
They flirting with the 86 Celtics record right there with when they won, I believe 67 games. They're kind of in that range. But I think part of the reason Rod feels the way he does is the load management for one, I think. I think when you don't know when guys are going to play and it's no backlash for players not playing. Like, I know the league finally put something in place where they can't get certain awards for it. But there's really not much backlash when guys are sitting. Like, I can remember, time where, guys, they played regardless. And I know times change over the years, but it's been commonplace. It's not uncommon to find out that a guy's not playing. And to me, that kind of takes away from that wanting to get geared up for certain matchups, certain nights, because you don't know who's going to play. And I think that's part of why a lot of things have changed. And then again, the defensive schemes have changed. The way the game has been asked to be officiated has also made it too easy, in my opinion, for players to score across the board. Doesn't mean they're not great. It just makes it a lot easier for them to do that, which kind of waters it down a little bit for those who have seen it in a different light and into transition into what it is currently now. So I think those are kind of the things there. But still, we still have a Western Conference, one more topic to cover in the West. And we're heavy on the West because there is more legitimate teams in my opinion, in the West. But what are some dark horses, gentlemen? There's a couple of teams I'm looking at right now in the standings, but I want to hear you guys' opinion on that. We're back around to Kobe now. So, Kobe, what are some of your dark horses in the West?
All the teams that is in the play-in, you gotta consider dark horses because you're in the play-in. So the Warriors, Lakers, the Suns, the Mavs. That's all. Them are my 4 dark horses. My favorite dark horse is the Lakers, but them are the 4 dark horses. Every other team is legitimate and can be a contender. I don't count them as dark horses. But I mean, if you want to count the Kings as a dark horse in that 6th spot, then the Lakers are my dark horses. I think the Pelicans, they'll be out there about probably round 1.
Yeah, right now they're lined up to play the Clippers in the 4-5 matchup, and I would take the Clippers over the Pelicans.
Watch the body language. Watch the body language of what's that guy that plays with the Pelicans now out of Duke?
Ingram, Zion Williamson.
Brandon Ingram.
Watch the body language of Zion Williamson.
Oh,
You know, we used to know that Zion was going to give us 27 and 15 and maybe 8, 9, or 6. You can watch his body language now, right? He hasn't lost any weight. Okay. And you know, this is the incredible thing. I've never seen a person, whether he played football, baseball, or basketball, to stay or be highly successful that moved this way. Okay, when I talk about body language, I'm talking about the way he walks on the court, the way he runs up and down the floor with a subtle lethargy to him, right? But I've never seen a very prolific athlete that didn't have balance. And this is one of the things that John Wooden talked about. And one of the things you can look at in an athlete, you can sort of tell the way an athlete walks, right? To his longevity, his stamina, his endurance. And if you watch Williamson walk, he's got a rock to his walk. There's no way you can have good posture, good balance, stay healthy, and then being overweight. And we're talking about the young athlete now. Here's a guy that cannot maintain his eating habits on a level that can help him be the most proficient athlete. So what does that go back to? I question his discipline. And then he has a history of athletic basketball players from Duke that really don't have a long, enduring career. So I question, you know, his attitude, his motive, his thought, and what does he really want, right? What does he really want from a professional career?
wow. Okay. Brooks, who you got for your dark horses, bro?
I mean, it's a pretty easy one for me. It's got to be the Clippers, right? You think about if you can get Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, you know, James Harden. If you can have them healthy, right, in the playoffs, then you know, I think you definitely got a chance. Especially talking about if you have a healthy Kawhi, and he's definitely played. He's played a lot this season. I don't think he's only missed like maybe 6 to 8 games. But yeah, they got to be the dark horse for me. They're only 5-5 in their last 10, but still they had this pretty impressive run earlier in the season. I think this team is dangerous. And again, they're one of those other teams with the aging roster. So you got to think about their health. But I definitely think it's the Clippers. If I had to pick a second one, probably be the Mavs. You know, when you get into playoffs and you have two guys like Kyrie Irving and Luka who can just light it up. I mean, they could get hot and carry you, a long way. You think about how good they are on offense, no matter, what their defensive flaws are. If those two guys get hot, you talking about a team that can maybe outscore anybody on a given night, right? So those are my top two. So Clippers, I go Clippers, and then Mavs.
All right, Rodney.
Good insight on that. My first team is going to be the Clippers, and my second team is going to be Lord. I got to go ahead and say it. I'm just going to go with just coaching and pedigree alone, man. Would be Golden State. If they just do, because they do these back cuts, man, and if they just get on, they can march, man. They can rebound. They can block you out. Kuminga I think he's very special. I like what he presents. Hopefully he can get that. He reminds me of what was that boy name? TJ.
What team?
Stromile Swift. That's what he reminds me.
Oh gosh, you going back to the old Grizzly days.
Oh God.
I mean,
Man, you would
just lengthwise, man. That joke was long, man. I was like, good Lord.
It's long.
He got some abilities, man. So I mean, not that Stromile Smith was the best player in the world. He was just long.
He was long though. Yeah.
He was just long, man. You could do some things with him. It turns. You play above the rim, man. That's a telling you. it's a blessing, brother. A
Yeah.
lot of people can't be up there. That's what
Yeah.
makes Anthony, your boy Anthony Edwards so special, man. You can,
Yeah.
man has no fear. Man, give off Kobe vibes. To be honest with you, like Lord,
Yeah.
you
I
don't.
think that yeah, I think that the Clippers to me are probably the dark horse team. And yeah, they're because the one, they're a veteran team. And we talked about the Lakers and Warriors being a veteran team. The Clippers are too. And the second part about that is Westbrook found his he's in a great place. And you have a Russell Westbrook that's coming off your bench and he's in a great space. He's happy, he's smiling, he's willing to come off the bench and play. The it is unlike how it was when he was with the Lakers as far as the overall atmosphere and the overall take of things. So when you add him as somebody coming off your bench, I think that's dangerous. You said it earlier, Brooks. They're 5-5 in their last 10, but they're 42-25, and they just come off a struggling piece, and they're 42-25. That means, think about that record. That's a tough record. They're only like 3 or 4 games behind the Nuggets right now, and the Wolves for second. So that's a team that I wouldn't want to face. And then placement, if everything kind of shake out like it's shaking, they will play the Pelicans. Then they probably would get like the Thunder, Phoenix Suns winner. So that 4 team bracket, if you will, that's a favorable bracket for a team for a dark horse team if you want to pick the Clippers. So that would be my dark horse right now in the West would be the Clippers. The other way around would be like it'd be tough for to me. It's gonna be a little tough for the Lakers and Warriors because they have to beat each other. One of them got to beat the other, so somebody's gone. And then now you got the Suns and Mavericks waiting on you after they play each other. So that's a tough spot. But if
That's
you
what
can
makes it
get,
good though. That's gonna be
yeah,
their jump off, boy.
well, it could, but
That's
it
a
could
jump
be,
off. I'm just telling you.
and it could be your way out at the same time. So like, I think that's the thing for me. But this thing is so wide open in the West, where even the 10th seed, as we said earlier, is the one that has winning record. So one last thing, guys, the Rockets, they're only 3 games out of the 10th slot,
I got a question.
right?
I got a before you get into the next topic.
Okay, go ahead, go
So
ahead.
we count top 4 teams as a dark horse.
Yeah.
Well, and for me, yeah, because for one thing, no one's really talking about the Clippers. For one,
What
right?
you mean?
So, where are you hearing it?
When you got a team with James Harden, Paul George, Russell Westbrook,
Where are you hearing it? We hear more talk about the Lakers and the Warriors than we do the Clippers.
that's because you know who's on the Lakers and Warriors. The Clippers are
But
top 4. They can't be no dark horse. The dark horse is the
I,
bottom.
they're dark. To me, they are a dark horse because they're not a team that is expected to win this thing. I
So,
don't I
so
don't know I don't know where to talk. The talk There's more talk about the Lakers winning it or Curry getting hot and the Warriors getting there than there's talk about the Clippers. Because I don't think that the total belief is not there with the Clippers. They haven't over this last run, this Paul George Kawhi run. It early on it was kind of some talk, but then everything kind of fizzed to me.
can
So
we count OKC as a dark horse? Is it number 1?
if that's what you choose, yeah, because they're not really a favorite. I think a lot of people saying that OKC can go down in the first round. That's more to talk than anything.
Yeah, they're favored to come out that first round with the L. That's the only
So
favorite.
it's a dark horse in the sense of if you don't look at the standings, because I think that we still are going to think that the Warriors, the Thunder, and the Timberwolves are still teams that got to prove something to us. They got to prove it to us in the postseason.
Okay.
So I think from that perspective, you know what I'm saying. But I was going to say something about the Rockets because there's not been too much talk about that. But Sagoon, their center went down with injury, and that's a bummer because they still had an outside chance of getting into the play-in segment. But now I think that's the end of that. So I just want to give a shout out to Sagoon. He had a great season so far, and he had a big injury that's pretty much going to shut him out. So any last comments on the West before we jump on the East real quick? Okay. All right, gentlemen, let's do it in a shotgun kind of segment here with the East. I got a couple questions with the East. I'm gonna shoot them to you guys. You can answer it. I'm gonna shoot it to one of you each. We can answer it, and then we can round table it out with the East. So let me shoot this to Rodney. Uh, Rodney, what's the ceiling for the
Mm.
Knicks? What's the ceiling for the New York Knicks?
They'll make it. They might make it into the playoffs. I just don't. The kind of injuries they got, man. I just don't see how they even get out of a first round if they even make it in. But had everybody been healthy, I would say they were gonna be right there. They would at least get a little further, man. But I just don't see it. I had high expectations for them, but they don't think they're gonna make it.
So you feeling like the injury to Randall right now is hurting them? They're kind of in that 4-5 matchup with Orlando right now, and I think that's a dangerous team with the Magic in the first round. Then of
It,
course that
it
would be
can be.
looking at Boston in round two.
Yeah, it can be, man. And, their strength is Orlando has, they have that I guess the current rookie of the year, and the 4 and 5 positions for them are strong. They're strong right there. So I mean, I would take Orlando over that Knicks team.
Okay, all right. Brooks, can anyone surpass the Boston Celtics in the East?
Oh man, I mean the Bucks are 10 games back. This Celtics team is, we talked about the Nuggets on the West. This Celtics team is their equivalent over here on the East with their roster continuity, with how they're built. They play complementary basketball. They added Drew Holiday this year. They added Porzingis, which I love. I love the lineup flexibility he provides as that stretch five. The matchup problems. And I think they needed to do that. You can't just you can't just keep putting Al Horford out here playing him all these minutes. They needed some lineup flexibility. Um, Jalen Brown, I think, has surpassed all expectations as an NBA player. The way he's a better scorer than people initially thought. We know he's a good defender. And Tatum is an elite player. He's not, he's never. I don't think he's ever going to get on the upper echelon, the upper tier of players. I don't think he's on Jokic's level, for example. But he's still, a top 10 player in this league. So no, they're not. Nobody's going to catch him. And they should, again. They should be the favorites coming out of the East. You just look at this roster, and it's just loaded with talent, and they know how to play. So yeah. Nobody, and they should be the heavy favorites to come out of the East.
All right. E. Can the Sixers trust Embiid, man? Right now, the Sixers are in the sixth seed at 38-30. Embiid's been out for a while. He has a history of being injured, and typically being injured around this time of year. So, uh, the can the Sixers trust Embiid this season?
No, the answer unequivocally no. Um,
Sorry, Joker, that boy.
they can't. Even if he were to come back, we're dealing with a 7-footer right here that actually carries his weight pretty good. But when he's healthy, but when he breaks down, he breaks down. He's a little bit older. Just think about it. His first, maybe 4 years, 5 years, injury plagued, and he's older now. He was injury plagued the first few years of his career. This is not going to get better right here. He can't get in shape the way he needs to be in shape. It's a wash right now for Philadelphia, even though they're standing 38-30 right now, and they're winning, and Maxey coming on strong. The all-star player that he is. It's just not enough to be able to compete against Boston, New York, or Milwaukee, and let's not count out Cleveland. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay. Cole, help me out here with the Eastern Conference. We know the Celtics have a stronghold at the 1 seed. The Bucks, they have Giannis. But who are some dark horses in the East? What's some teams we need to be looking at? And some teams you think can really make some noise in the East?
Well, starting with the obvious dark horse that we can never forget about, Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. They sitting there at the eighth spot right now. They getting to play in and miraculously out of nowhere go into the playoffs. That'd be the number one dark horse. Number two dark horse, I give it to the Knicks. I think Mr. Rod saying they're in the playoffs, and they had that four. They sitting there pretty comfortably. They're in the playoffs, so I say they're a dark horse. I don't want to look at them as a dark horse because the matchup. I think they'll make it to like the second round, but that'd be my second dark horse. So the Heat, excuse me, the Heat.
Hmm.
Trae Young should be coming back soon. He's estimated. The Hawks can be a dark horse. You know, Trae Young act differently getting playoffs. He's sitting at 10. I think he can beat out the Bulls. So we can't really count nobody. So the Hawks are the dark horse, the Knicks, and the Miami Heat. If you
Oh
want
wow!
to
I mean,
if you want to throw in the
those-
Pacers, you
Let's
can throw
go
in,
Hawks. Let's go Hawks.
or you can
Let's
throw in the
go
Magic.
Hawks.
But my favorite dark horses are the Hawks, the Heat, and the Knicks.
very good, very good. Okay. What's your thoughts on the Pacers, everybody? That's a team that we haven't put much, discussion on so far in the East. Is are the Pacers? Can they be a threat with Halliburton?
No, he ain't carrying his flat no more. He has took a tremendous drop. I just seen a stat. He's like 17% from three over his
Oh
last
man,
10 games. I want to say the hype is slowly dying down for him. I just
yeah.
think they might need another year for them to be like actual threat. I just don't see that.
Yeah. And then they may have rushed Halliburton back too soon. And you think about
Agreed.
all the factors. He doesn't look 100%. And you think about, roster bonuses, making an all NBA team, and that now has game. You got to have hitting a certain threshold of games that maybe influences the decision to come back sooner than he did. But he doesn't look totally healthy. So I think they rushed him back, which is unfortunate because the first half of the season he was really special. But yeah, he doesn't look 100%. And if he's not 100%, this Pacers team definitely has it's going to be tough to get out of the first round. Maybe talk about 2 rounds, maybe even the first round. They're matched up against. Especially think about that. Right now they're facing the Heat, who are
They had the Cavs in the first round.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. They had the Bucks in the first round.
Bucks in the first round. Yeah.
Bucks in the first round.
I equate this Heat team to what we're talking about with the Nuggets and how the seed doesn't matter. That's a team where seeding doesn't matter, man. Where just get them in the playoffs. I love the addition of Terry Rozier, man. I would not want to play them in playoff time. This is a veteran team. I don't think they care what seed they get in. They just want to be in the playoffs. And I think this team knows how to flip a switch. So yeah, that's going to be a tough matchup if that stays the 7-8, and then you're looking at coming out and playing the Boston Celtics. If you get the 8 seed for the Pacers, that's gonna be tough sledding.
And just think about this right here. You have they have a great coach in Indiana, and what if we see a surgence of Pascal Siakam to come on strong? And just what if we got a couple of big games from Tyrese. We think he came back maybe too soon. But what if we saw some player come on strong? What if we saw Aaron Nesmith, have a big game on the board, or Miles Turner have, an incredible game? Yeah, again, it's interesting basketball, and at any day, at any time, one of these stars or these budding young guys can come up and make something happen. Yeah, that's interesting to see what Indiana could possibly do. 38 and
Yeah.
38 and 31 on this season. And
Hmm.
they usually play a game to the end, you know, uh, that Indiana team. So that would be interesting to see.
Yeah. But looking at the loss column, I mean, the Heat were mentioned as a dark horse. And I mean, in 2 games, the Heat can go all the way up to the 3-6 slot, and then playing the Cavaliers. That'd be a great matchup for them in the first round. And the Hawks, and even with the Hawks, I mean, if the Pacers can drop down to 8, you have the Hawks Bulls, and Rodney will have something to say about that. But then you still have the Pacers. At that point, it'll be what the Pacers at the 8 slot. Now, you never know. So like you can get in this thing in the East, especially from 7. I say from 7 to 10, you can get in this thing. So we'll see how it go. Oh, you had something to say there, Eve?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. All right, gentlemen. So that covers the East. Go ahead and just give me your super early prediction here. Uh, team out the East, team out the West, and then we out of here. So, Brooks, team out the East is
Yeah, I mean it's got to be the Celtics. You know, I look at Milwaukee, and I like the swing they took with Lillard. Milton looked good on his return, so I mean that's encouraging. But I will say playoff basketball is different, and Lillard gives them that elite score. When it comes in crunch time to pair with Giannis. So we'll see how it translates in playoff basketball. I still skeptical about his. Lillard's just not a good defender. We'll put it bluntly. So I think that's going to be hard. But we'll see. But yeah, I got to go with the Celtics out of the East.
all right. Cole, team out the East, team out the West. Oh, Brooks, who's the team out the West? I guess Nuggets, right?
Yeah, I mean, right now you got to go Celtics Nuggets.
Okay. All right. What about you, Cole?
Celtics Lakers.
Old school matchup. All right. What about you, E?
Boy, that Celtic Lakers shirt, it sounds so good, doesn't it? You're right. It sounds so good, man. Marquee. Again,
Hmm.
Boston Celtics in the East, Tatum, Brown, Porzingis, Pritchard, Drew Holiday, Al Harford, the former
My
Hawk,
man.
and Derek White. You just got to go with that.
Mhm.
I do like Milwaukee with a healthy Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then, but it just won't be enough. Then out west, and Denver Nuggets, and that would make a good series. And if it comes down to those teams, I want you to mark this down also, such as I mentioned earlier, that about the blockouts, the 3 points, and the defense. You will see the highest rating in NBA championship uh, of a long time, if not the Lakers and the Celtics, Kobe, right?
Ooh.
See one of the highest rated NBA championship series if it's the Boston Celtics and Denver Nuggets.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with right now currently Nuggets and Celtics. I feel like they're the two teams right now as of today current that I would lay money on for those two teams to be in the finals as of today. All right, gentlemen. Here's a question that was sent to me, so I want you guys to be able to answer, and then we out. We done for the night, and I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. Can Kevin Durant can he lead the Phoenix Suns? Can he lead them to a conference final? Do you feel like he can do that?
No,
Cole.
no, no. No. I don't know. I've never been on the Kevin Durant hype train, but yeah, no, I don't think he leads them to a conference final. I don't think he leads them to the chip, and I don't think he leads them to a conference final. And the thing just is with KD, and by all means, KD's one of the best scorers ever. great player. I just don't think he's beating into a quarterfinal. That's all. And like Mr. E was saying, it's something always happening with that team, and it's true. It is always happens with them. So yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
We were talking about how Devin Booker is getting hurt and Bradley Beal. Let's not forget, KD's not falling off the hurt train. He get hurt in the moment now. He's known for it. He's more known for getting hurt than Bradley Beal and Devin Booker. He's taking the approach like Anthony Davis is. Both of them are just not getting hurt this year. But we can't count them two out because you got to hold your breath every time he jumps.
Yeah.
I don't think he's beating no conference final.
All right, what you think there, E?
Yeah, you're right, Kobe. Kevin Durant even mentioned to the fact that he wasn't concerned about being a leader, right? And you're talking about Mr. Sensitive Kevin Durant, right? As Charles Barkley said, he's just not that guy. He's one of the greatest of all time, but he's from that generation of, it may score 40,000 points. He may play good defense. He's the great Kevin Durant. He's two-time MVP, I think, in playoffs. What have you beat LeBron James? But he's just not the guy, okay, that can lead any team. Now, can he be your best compadre? He's like Yoba, Caesar and Yoba. Koba, whatever his name, with the Planet of the Apes, right? He can't do it. He's not a leader. He may get hurt. He just doesn't have the personality for it, but he's a great one. He's a top 75, but he is not the leader that you probably want to lead a team. He cannot lead the Suns. He cannot lead any team. He's a great running partner. Kind of similar to I would call him less than a Scottie Pippen to Michael Jordan, if you put a great person with him.
All right, close us out, Brooks.
Yeah, I mean the conference final. I mean, if you say can you lead them to a conference final, sure. I mean, if the bracket breaks to their favor, and like I said, they play one of these younger teams in the Thunder and the T-Wolves. Yeah, I mean, I think they can. KD and Booker are two, really elite players with, the pedigree, right? They've both done it. So, I think that's enough to carry you to a conference final for sure. I think, my biggest thing with them is they went into a season with Nurkic at center. Like, they didn't address the center. They traded away Ayton because for some reason they didn't value him. Which I think it was a mistake, and they brought in Nurkic. And I think in a 7-game series with the caliber of coaches you're going to face, they're going to take advantage of Nurkic. He is, a really bad defensive center who's going to get he's going to get exposed in the playoffs. So they definitely don't see them winning a title. I mean, just because of that fact. I mean, it's so glaring a weakness. And again, playoff basketball is different. You're playing you got a 7-game series where they're going to plan and exploit all your weaknesses. And I think that's a glaring weakness for the Suns. What are you going to get out of Beal? I don't know. It's one of those things. It's health, right? What are you getting out of him? But you're asking me if KD and Booker are enough to get you to a conference final. Sure, they are, but they definitely don't. I don't see them going all the way. But yeah, I mean they can make a run to the conference final.
All right, gentlemen. All right, I appreciate y'all answering that question. Reggie wanted to know that he's a huge KD fan. So Reggie, there you have it from the experts here from the panel. And gentlemen, definitely appreciate you guys joining. And we'll do this again. And make sure you check out Co from the Low on YouTube. Continue to support 411 Sports World on YouTube. And thank Big E there, Eric, for being on.
Thank you.
Brooks, the showcase.
Kobe, Mr. 411. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So I thank you guys for being on. Thank everybody for tuning in. Everybody have a good night, and we'll catch y'all later.
Enjoy it, fellas.